Hi, my name is Rich, and I use the he, him pronouns, and you're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop games with friends because I don't play with enemies. I got a comment on the YouTube, and you're right. Why not play with enemies? It's like a whole lot, it's an entire category. It's like a slice of the pie that I'm missing out on, but just making a choice that I've got to play with my friends. This is Star Wars Saturdays, where every month I choose a different RPG and hack it, reskin it, or sometimes just run it as is in the galaxy of Star Wars. And it works pretty well. Our timeline that we are playing in is after Return of the Jedi, not quite to Mandalorian, so sometime in that space. And the game we're playing is really interesting. It is called Retrostar. Retrostar is a game from Spectrum Games, and the idea behind the game is that you, as a group, will create a 1970s TV show. Now, as everyone who knows Star Wars probably knows, there wasn't a whole lot of Star Wars out at the time of the actual 70s. So we're using the veneer of a 70s show, but we didn't want to walk away from a lot of the cool things we've created together in Star Wars Saturdays. So it's in the Star Wars Saturdays universe, which happens a couple of years after Palpatine died, the New Republic is rising, and the Empire is receding. There is a entire slice, I keep using the word slice today, but slice of the galaxy that is under Imperial control, under the control of the warlord Zinj. And in our Retro Star series that we've pitched, we're definitely leaning into that. But let's meet our players, and then we will jump straight into the pilot of the series, which unfortunately was a very short pilot. They didn't have a whole lot of budget, obviously, so we're going to be playing for an hour here. Let's go around the horn. I'm going to start from the left-hand side of the character keeper, heading towards the right. So if you could introduce yourself, Andesh.
Yeah, I'm Anders. I use the he, him pronouns. Character as well, right?
No, we're going to do introductions of characters
Cool.
in the series. So
Cool. I'm done.
awesome, Greg.
Hey, I'm Greg. I use he, him pronouns, and I am actually Rich's enemy. That's
I didn't even know. It's good that you revealed that before I show run the show. Sabine.
Yeah, hi, my name is Sabine. I use any pronouns and I will use any descriptor in of my relationship to Rich: friend, enemy, mortal enemy, best friend, I don't know. I'll let Rich decide.
Oh, cool. I'm just gonna roll a die. Last but not least, Steven.
Hi, I'm Steven, and my pronouns are he, him, and I don't have any funny quip to say, so I'm good.
Cool. I'm gonna see. It's been a bit since I've used the voice mod, so I'm gonna check in with a sound effect first. Helm scream. Yes.
a little choppy.
A little choppy? Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, like it got cut off by a ducker.
Cut off by a duck.
Like an audio ducker.
Oh. I wonder if that's Zoom fighting me. Okay. Well, what about this?
Oh, yeah, it was there
It's
and it got
very
faint.
light. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost as if it's fighting with your volume and cutting out a little
Interesting. Well, that's sucky. It's a sucky thing. I wonder if Zoom has a new audio setting. Well, we shan't worry too much about that. I will play with it. Automatically adjust microphone volume. That might be the setting. Oh, anyway. And then I'll do those two things. Boom. So that was seven. That was Mecho's Star Wars theme. Okay. I meant to stop it and I ended up playing it again. Anyway. All right. So we begin our setting, and the first thing that we see is there's a long shot of a space liner. Like this is Space Love Boat, right? So it is this cruise liner, and what we see at first is we come across the board. We see people playing like space shuffleboard. It's very the veneer is very nice. You see a few stormtroopers, but they're in the background. They're not up in anyone's face. They have their rifles, but they're not bothering anyone. They're just here for security. And everything seems genteel. A lot of rich folks, not many aliens. Like the one alien we see is swabbing the deck. And the ship at first, you see the sea background, this beautiful blue ocean, it's pristine. Oh yes, they're cruise troopers. Yes, cruise troopers. It's great. I love that. It's the name for the show. But anyway, so you see this beautiful blue sea and the sky. There's the point where the horizon just they kind of melt into each other. A cerulean and a sky blue together, and we have the ship. Everything's great, and it looks like the ship itself is skimming above the water, and it starts to angle up higher, and you hear this very pleasant voice come over the loudspeakers informing everyone that the ship is going to head into orbit to head towards the next planet. And some people like start to head inside, but you see that there's this shield. You see a little bit of like water spray that kind of splashes across it. And there's this shield that is over, like, maybe there's 10 feet out of the actual exterior of the ship. So people can stand on the deck and watch things, and a few people do, right? And that everything's great for the ship itself. And then the camera pans down, and all of a sudden we see this, like as it's coming down, you see a couple of portholes. You see maybe inside, just the camera's moving slowly. You see some people inside. They're like making out. Oh, a little salacious. We get a little bit of sex appeal there. And the next deck down, maybe you see some kid that's playing with some Imperial toys, like he's got a pretend TIE fighter that he's making the sound effect for. We just catch just a little bit of that sound effect of the scream. But the thing that our alert viewers notice is that like, there's some kind of rope, and it's kind of slapping against the ship as the camera continues going down. And then the camera pans just a little bit, and we see, and Anish, could you please describe your character as she is holding on to this cord for her life, trying to hold on as the ship is continuing to head towards exiting the atmosphere?
Yeah, this is Mel Kraken, and I think she's in some kind of. It's supposed to be like a stealth suit or something, so it's black, and she has like a utility belt or something, and she's hanging on to this and like trying to plant her feet against the hull to get some stability, and she's yelling into a comm that's like that she has like. I'm carked here. I'm carked. The thing is stuck. I can't get up.
Awesome. Now, who among the three do we introduce as they open up a porthole and start helping Mel get inside?
So that would be me.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So I'm playing K14NK, otherwise known as Clank. He is they are a KX series security droid, think K2SO from the movies. And we see this port window open up and reach out and grab the rope that Mel is kind of hanging off of, and just starts reeling it up, and it comes up, almost like there is a winch on the other side. Just very fast, just dragging you up the side of the ship. And whenever you get up to the window, this rough arm reaches out and grabs you and pulls you inside, and we're in like a utility closet, like a janitorial kind of closet, and the cleaning supplies and that kind of stuff, and maybe like a little recharging spot for the Roomba droid looking thing that's in the corner.
Nice. It's a mouse droid, right? We got to have a little mouse droid. We can reuse that. We stole it off the Star Wars set. Amazing. I love that the two of you guys are in this closet. You hear as some stormtroopers march by. This seems to be a little bit more secure part of the deck. And we cut to one of our two remaining principal characters who are about to infiltrate the suite where your extraction target is currently. So who do we see and what do we see about you before you're about to bust in to try to get this extraction target?
You infiltrate, I distract.
Oh, I think you infiltrate, I distract.
Yeah, okay. I'm sure I infiltrate anything if you want me to. Okay, so we see Lon Alpa. Lon is a young guy, uses he, him pronouns. He's a bit scrawny, but gangly, but if he really moves, he can really move really fast. And that's what he's doing here. He's not only opening up the door, he's just jumping inside and doing a little rolling thing. I don't know the word. But and the door closes behind him, right? So he's in and you can almost not see him. He's hidden behind the bed looking for the person they're supposed to extract. And
I think if you're good with it, Sabine, I think there's like a wide shot with Lon entering from like outside the room, and then Dr. Palia, who is dressed up as one of the crew's like staff members. Maybe there's a shot of one of them like, knocked out in the closet. But she's knocking on the door, right? Like both sides of the room at the same time.
Nice. Yeah. So you Lon, you're inside, and we have a couple of stormtroopers who are there. Sorry, what'd you say?
Just one thing to add. I have a hyperspray in my hand.
Oh, nice.
Very cool. So we have a couple of stormtroopers and your target, Matos Pichel. There's a knock at the door. Dr. Palia is dressed as a member of in the livery of people who work on the ship. And a stormtrooper looks at his buddy, and there's a brief pause until finally he says, I got it the last. Zoom is messing with me, so I'm going to stop using voice mod until I can fix it. So he says, I got it the last time. Stormtrooper turns to open the door, and this is our action shot. Dr. Palia, what is the thing you do before we cut to the intro of the show to this stormtrooper?
So she's got like a towel, and she just pulls aside, and there's a blaster underneath.
Nice. Cool. And so the blaster, the camera zooms into the barrel of the blaster, and then it cuts to Disposable Humanitarians, a Star Wars story, and then we hear a blaster shot as the music begins, and so there's like the music is going on. It's like the disco Star Wars that I can't quite play because Zoom hates me. And then we hear the body hit the deck, and then we go through and we see each of the characters. We have Mel Kraken. Is that right? Mel Kraken. Of course, you got it on your background because you're awesome. Then we see our KX series security droid. What's the bit that's written about them in the blurb for the intro of that character?
I'm not sure.
Oh, well, like name? How?
Oh yeah.
How is it?
Probably Clank. Just
Clank.
Clank underneath, and you see him, like punching through a wall and grabbing something, and then grabbing someone and pulling them back.
Nice, nice, nice. What about Lawn Alpha? What's our brief, like, couple seconds cut from an episode as the intro of what Lawn Alpha is about?
I think what we see is him in a black imperial outfit with a blaster, shots raining, and he's kind of jumping around to escape them. And we also see him like a headshot where he's holding his head like this, like I'm feeling something, and staring intensely into the distance.
Oh man, I love that. Yeah, the staring off into middle distance is perfect. And then the last bit for our kind of headshot, couple seconds of action with Dr. Palia.
Oh, Dr. Palia is like holding on for dear life on the side of a speeder as Mel is driving it, and she's shouting at her, and then falls off and does a very graceful roll.
I love it. Cool. We snap back to the suite where one storm is down. Lawn Alpha, you are hiding, and the other stormtrooper has moved up and grabbed Dr. Palia at this point. Hasn't shot her, but has grabbed her and looks like it's going to try to put her in binders. What do you do?
That's outside the room, right?
I think no. Dr. Palia opened the door. I thought you were in the room. Dr. Palia opened the door. Yeah, Dr. Palia acting like was a staff member, shot one of the stormtroopers.
What am I going to do? I am going to, well, can't have that. So I will stand up, come up behind him, and say, buddy, you look really sick. And when he turns, I just put the hyper spray at his neck. And
all right.
Yeah.
Cool. So I want to jump into our first intention related die roll. So this game uses what's called the intention system. Players state what their intentions are, and then we pick which trait is most appropriate. It feels like an adventurous thing that you're doing. He's a stormtrooper. I imagine that you're using a hypo spray that would work on a stormtrooper, so I think it's possible that this happens. But I'm going to use a little bit of my SFX budget, and I'm going to say that he's not a total schlub. He's not wearing black armor, but I'm going to say that there's a one die obstacle. So you're doing adventure, Lon. Your adventure is a 1, and then the obstacle would take it down to a 0. You've got a few options. Yeah. What are you going to say?
No, go ahead and explain the options, please.
Okay. So first option that's free of charge. If you've got an SFX that you're using, boom, you can pull that in. The other one is if you wanted to use a spotlight token, then you can activate your adventure descriptor, and that'll give you 2 more dice. So you go from that 0 up to a +2. The last thing is that people can help. There are assisting rules, but they have to make a roll, and then that would either gain you or possibly lose, give you an obstacle if they biff the roll.
Okay. I do have a medkit, and I think my hyperspray is from that medkit, so I think it would apply.
Right.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So I get
agree.
two dice, and which dice do I use?
You're going to roll 6-sided dice.
Okay.
You'd be rolling so I'm going to take over screen. Sorry. I just want to make sure everybody's comfy with it once we go. So we went from 0. Actually, you're not rolling 2 dice. I was wrong. So we went from 0, which means you just roll 2 dice and add the 2 results, but you just went up to a +2. So now you're rolling 4 dice and keeping the best 2. I only gave you an obstacle of 1, which would have taken you here. You had an adventure of 1, so you started flat and you just boosted yourself with that SFX to give yourself a total of 4 dice. So roll 4d6 and tell me what the highest 2 add up to.
Okay. See how that goes. I don't have a modifier.
Right. It's just straight
so
up.
So I've got 2 6s.
Yep. Wow.
Well, I mean.
All right. So I'm going to take over screens again. This one's easy. The character succeeds. There is a 7 to 9 result that's very different from the PBTA type games we use. There's a reboot version of this version. We'll talk about that when we get to it. But for right now, you succeed. What does that look like when you take out that stormtrooper? Do you just let them drop to the ground? Do you catch them before they fall? What does Lon do?
I think he turns around and says, what did I say to him? I think you look a little sick, and he says, "What are you talking about? I'm a perfect medical condition." And then I hyperspray him, and he kind of woozes and looks at me, and then he kind of drops, and of course I catch him. I won't let him fall and hit his head, and the stormtrooper tongues are awful. And I lie him down and say, "Let's have a little lie down here, buddy. You really, really should watch your calorie intake."
And
I pat his helmeted cheek.
Nice. He's out. Your extraction target, Matos Pichel, he was there in the room with a couple of stormtroopers guarding him. We'll say that he was at one of the little computer terminals working, and he sees this happen, and he seems a little worried. What is it that you do, Dr. Palia, as your compatriot takes them out? By the way, we're going to be bringing Clank and Mel into the scene very shortly.
Do we have code names that we go by? Because I don't want to necessarily call Lon by his name.
Unless Lon is the code name. I don't know. What do you guys want?
I love code names. Code names are great. They are very 70s also.
Yes.
So we have code names like, I don't know, Cobra is probably.
Cobra.
I just like cobras. Is there another snake with a cool name? Python? Starsky? Starsky?
Starsky?
Yeah, Starsky is fine. I'm going with Starsky.
Starsky. We don't have a whole lot of time. And Palia just like pushes past Lon and is going straight for Matos. I had assumed that he's attempting to, like, is he a willing extraction, or is he
That's
going
a great
away?
question. So he is what you're briefing, like we do a quick flashback to the briefing on a data pad, and the briefing says he has reached out to the New Republic asking if he can help, and unfortunately he was compromised. So he was assisting the New Republic with information, but he's been compromised now, which is why he was under lock and key. He was being escorted to a secure facility for legal proceedings. He does not know he's being extracted. He may think that you're going to assassinate him, but he hasn't run away yet. By the way, Matos Pichel, dashingly handsome, has a scar that's mostly just to enhance his handsomeness. He's obviously a guy that we've brought in to guest star for this episode to up our sex appeal. He's he's kind of guy that's on a lot of TV guide covers. Is what I'm saying.
I'll give our security term, right, our agreed passphrase. Matos, we're here to purchase some turbo lasers.
And
which makes no sense in the context of just shooting them.
Oh, that's awesome. And then he says, then I guess you would need to go to Tashi Station. Good. How many are there on your team?
How many more troopers are there?
Just crawling with them. I'm sorry. I'm doing the best I can.
Don't worry. They're just cruise troopers. They're not the elite.
Nice. Over the loudspeaker, the captain, this is your captain speaking. In 2 minutes, we'll have left the planetary atmosphere and we'll be entering space. We'll be going into hyperspace very soon on our traverse to the very next planet.
My apologies. Does he have a rank, Pichel?
That is a great question. He's going to be a lieutenant.
My apologies, Lieutenant Pichel. We're going to have to make this look convincing. Lon, I think we're going to knock him out and Like we have to make this look like he got knocked out and we're taking him away. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Sounds
okay. I think I
cool.
will just reload the hyperspray though.
Sure. And you don't have to,
I mean-
yeah, he's not resisting. It's not a
Yeah.
roll. You reload the hyperspray. You're not using up an SFX. That's cool. However, I think this is when Mel and Clank either communicate with the team to Ricknor, or you guys can just enter the suite.
Clank steps into the suite. He opens the door, steps in, and repeats an exact phrase, and tone from what the captain just said. We're about to exit the atmosphere and, depart for other worlds.
Yeah, and I think Mel comes in after him, like covering his back, so looking down the corridor behind.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. So you guys know you're on the clock. You've got a couple of minutes to extract Pichelle before jump to hyperspace, and then that means you're going to have to come up with a whole new plan. So, yes, I also love the droid repeating computer. That is brilliant and very, very awesome. Get to the four of you have met up. You've knocked out Pichelle, and what do you want to do next? You're currently in like mid decks. It's a relatively secure deck. I'm guessing, since we have an SFX of an experimental TIE fighter, that could be a possible egress. But it is a TIE fighter, so I don't know if it's going to carry 5 people.
Did our target manage to pull the information he wanted?
Yeah, we'll say before he was knocked out, he hands you a data crystal.
Perfect.
Says, make sure this gets to the command. And then, oh, yes, of course. He passes out very handsomely.
And I think we see K2SO, the hand kind of fold over and then feed the data crystal in and close back up. And this looks, 70s cheesy, whenever it moves to the hand, you can tell it's like a prop.
Yes. Love it.
So are we going to steal an escape pod like we planned? Or do we want to just steal one of these fancy little exploratory vessels they have here? Because I like the exploratory vessels they have here. And I think they're mostly meant to put people out so they can watch suns explode, but could use them to escape.
Oh, yeah, like cool little shuttles that you. Yeah, we'll say that the shuttles don't have hyperspace engines. Not that you need it, but I think it makes sense in my head.
Oh, what if these exploratory vehicles are actually intended to take the elite down to the planet to view, it's a tour, but they have to be equipped really well for whatever territory, whatever landscape there is.
Yeah. They have amazing shields. No hyperspace, but amazing shields.
Yeah.
I love it. Yes. So you can pop on an escape pod. That's easy enough, but taking one of the shuttles, it definitely has more class to it.
Well, we don't have much time. The sensors will have detected the gunshot. The gunshot. The blaster.
We should get moving. Come on.
It's awesome. They're like, oh, this is obviously a pilot. He said gunshot. You said gunshot. Okay, awesome. So who is carrying our handsome guest star?
I am. I've got him literally over the shoulder. Yes. So he's like, his bobbing head is probably about head height to everyone else because the KX droids are significantly taller.
Nice. So you haul Pichelle over shoulder, and I assume Lon gives you directions of where the closest shuttle can be found. And of course, I've got a budget, so I am throwing some stormtroopers in your way. But it's got to be interesting. I think what happens is not it's not a stop and talk sequence, but an action sequence. So you come out, you come to a T intersection. The other three are behind you. Clank, I don't imagine Clank's the kind of person to like peer out. You're just walking like you're supposed to be there. But one of the stormtroopers says, hey, what's going on? No, they've got and they pull out their blasters and pew, 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 a couple blaster shots happen on either side. The shuttle is on the other side of these three stormtroopers who are in not a narrow hallway. They're at the end of a larger hangar bay where the shuttles are kept.
Whenever the firing starts, I start to run for cover, jostling our guy badly as I run, and crouch behind a crate.
Dig it.
Yeah, let's return fire. I mean, that's what we're here for, right? I mean,
Yep.
I'm having stun settings because I mean I know I use some stormtroopers. They're not all bad, most of them are, but not all, and so I want to stun them.
Okay, cool. So your intent is to try to take out these stormtroopers so you guys can get to the hangar bay. Sound right?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep, that's
All
my
right.
intent. Unless somebody else wants to roll, because I've already rolled.
It's true.
I think Dr. Palia is. I just want to lean into the over calculating the outcomes. And Dr. Palia is like, we're outnumbered. There's going to be more behind us. We don't, and so, I think she's going to start sealing off like this section of so that we can't get cut off. But I want to lean into maybe not doing that all that well.
Cool. So your intent is to try to make sure that there are no other stormtroopers who can come up behind you. That sounds cool.
Yes.
Someone points out actual basic math that 4 versus 3 is
Yes. But they're stormtroopers.
Awesome. No one's quite so precise. Let's
Okay, so
have
I'm starting
Dr.
with a
Polly.
-1.
You are. And I think that the security on this is pretty tight. So I'm going to say you've got a -1 obstacle. Less around stopping you from doing it,
Mhm.
and more around they identify where you are.
Okay. Does my over calculating of outcomes give me a bonus? This is where you said it's not entirely clear, right?
It's not entirely clear to me, but I believe that when you have a negative on that, but if you activate the descriptor, then the descriptor allows you to say the camera focuses on you. It's juicy and interesting, and it gives you a +2. So you got a -1. You spend a spotlight token to give you a +2 dice, so you go from a -1 to a +1 because you're doing that tropey descriptor part.
May I ask a mechanical question?
Yes,
How do spotlight tokens come back?
the game doesn't say.
Okay, so I'd like to propose something. I suggest we play it the way you just described for this session, but it's something we can think about for next session. What if whenever you use a trait from for something that has a minus value, it gives you back a spotlight token? So you take a negative consequence, so you take fewer dice or whatever, but it gets you spotlight tokens for later. Does that make sense?
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're saying
but
it.
not all characters will have a negative value. I think we all
Right.
have, but you don't. You could be a 1-0-0.
Yeah, I didn't want
Right.
to derail us with debating it. I just wanted to say that's another option
Right.
we can think about for later. Yeah.
Yeah, I think generally it just. Sorry, I left the part where it says it's going to be fully explained, but it's not fully explained to my needs, and it's actually the page reference is wrong. But I think the intent is that it just refreshes every episode. But
Okay.
I think that's interesting. Let's go with it as written for this session. We'll talk about it.
So I have a
between
-1. The conflict gives me a -2. I use my not trait, my descriptor to bring it back up to -1.
No, you bring it up to 0. Basically,
Bring
you
it
went,
up to
you went to
0.
-2. If you spend a spotlight token,
The
it gives you
token.
plus 2d. So you go from -2d to 0.
Okay,
So flat, you're just rolling 2d6.
I'm rolling 2d6. Okay,
So you're spending the spotlight token, correct?
correct.
I'm going to move.
Spotlight.
Okay, cool. So we spotlight you over calculating the outcomes. I've got spotlight tokens on row 4, so I'm just going to take that from 11 down to 10. And now you're just rolling straight up 2d6.
That's a 6.
All right. So according to the rules on a 2 to 6, reminder,
Fail.
it's a fail. It's just a fail. It just says the character fails. That's all it says. But it means that I say what happens. And I think I'm going to use the guide of our series dials because I've already used a little bit of cheese. This will not quite be the slam bang, you trying to turn off the alarm, turn on the alarm, but instead, exactly, take XP that doesn't exist and does nothing, but makes you feel good. But instead, what we have is you're switching off, and we cut up to the command and control center. It's not actually where the captain is running things, but where we have an Imperial officer who has a number of like very obvious CRTs, the 70s style, where they actually are slightly rounded and fuzzy on the ends, and they flip to Pichelle's room and see a couple of stormtroopers aren't at their posts, because I imagine you guys would have drugged them off to some corner. See, they're not at the posts, and that Imperial captain reaches out and says, TX423, where are you? On to your post. There's a couple of notifications, and then where is Pichelle? Where is Pichelle? And then they hear from one of the stormtroopers, we're being attacked, which is when Lon Alpha will get to roll your dice. So, Lon, you have an adventure of 1.
1. Yep.
You are outnumbered by 3 to 4.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm an asshole.
Yes,
I'm sorry. I'm
I
terrible.
am. Mhm.
I'm X-carding me. I'm terrible. Anyway, I will stop making that joke. So they do have armor, which is great against blasters and Ewok stones. So I will say that's an obstacle of 1.
It's a
so that will
stun
take
blaster, though. It's a
it's a stun blast, so it doesn't even care. So, all right, I guess you're just rolling with your adventure of 1. You're using up your stun blast. Well, no, actually, trying to think of the mechanics of how this game wants to emulate it versus like, yeah, it's fine. All right, so you're going to use your blaster with stun, which then puts you at effectively a 3, right? 1 plus 2 from the blaster with stun.
I think so. Wow. Okay. I'm sorry.
So you're rolling 5 dice and adding together the 2 highest results.
Hey, let's see how that goes. Yeah, well, I missed an 11. I'm sorry. It's very undramatic.
It is. Stop using all your effects. No, it's what you got them for. It's all good. No,
sorry.
This is good. It lets us
Pew,
see
pew.
a vibe for it. Okay, cool. Awesome. So you, again, the intent was to take out the stormtroopers. So Lon, you take out 3 stormtroopers with this.
Yep.
What does that look like?
I think it's a whole lot of phaser. Sorry, wrong franchise. Blaster, laser battle. A lot of pew pew jumping around because Lon's actor likes showing off his gymnastic qualities. So he will do pinwheels and these little backflips and stuff like that, and shoot these little blue rings, right, that come from the blasters. And if you hit the stormtrooper with that, then one of them will say, "Why doesn't our armor work against that?" And then
That's right. What's going on? And the troopers are down. You guys move forward with, I guess, Clank. You're still carrying the extraction target. And hey, I'm presenting a challenge to you. The shuttle has been locked down. You see beep 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 as your current whatever fake I can't remember what those called, but like the little security code cylinder, it doesn't work. You're gonna have to either break it open or hack it. I'm just presenting that to everybody. I'm totally stealing because I watched Ragnarok this week. I think it's one of those like sleek, yellow, beautiful, awesome 70s harvest gold type deals, but it's sleek and it's got like this disc around it, that a stability thing that just looks cool. So yeah, how are you going to get into the shuttle?
So I think Clank, whenever he heads towards the shuttle, he's dragging our target right behind him now, like by a
No,
foot. Yeah.
No, don't do that. That's not how you carry a person. I will start arguing with her.
He kind of talks,
With them.
Tilts his head and looks back, and
Mm-mm.
doesn't sigh, but has the robotic equivalent, and then kind of picks up and actually holds him up as if he's walking as he walks forward towards the shuttle. And somebody tries their code cylinder and it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm going to try to hack it. And I think that's whenever we see the little droid port come out and connect up. So let's do that.
Okay, let's work through it. Your intent is to get into the shuttle. Then to me, it sounds like detecting and fixing. Is it adventure? What do you guys think? Which trait feels most? It might be analyzing, rerouting a power in a space station, deciphering an enemy's code. Yep, you're slicing in Star Wars parlance, and I think thought works for me. So you've got a thought of 0. Are you going to activate any of the SFX that you have?
I think I will, which is I have a droid computer interface.
Okay, cool. So you use that once per episode, and that'll give you plus 2D. So you go from 0 up. Now, this is some high security. They do not want these really nice shuttles stolen. Your obstacle is 2.
Huh?
So the your thought of 0 and the obstacle of 2, you're at minus 2 dice. You use your droid computer interface to take you back to 0 dice. Do you want to spend any spotlight tokens to give yourself a bonus, or are you just going to roll 2d6?
So we've tried out a few of the mechanical things. I'd like to see how help works.
Okay, that sounds good to me.
And I saw someone in the chat mention that Mel has a door panel slicer.
Yeah, I do. Because...
Do you think you might be able to help with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Here, use this. I can never get this thing to work properly.
So how does help work?
So, interestingly enough, the person who's helping actually rolls dice. So you build their die pool, and then their success will give a 2D benefit if they're successful.
Cool. So I assume this is thought for me as well, and I have a -1 in thought.
Awesome.
But I'm using the door panel slicer, and that's 3 ones per session. Was that right?
Yes, correct. Yes, yeah. So that puts you at a +1 die.
Yeah,
and it's just help, so I'm not putting an obstacle to you helping.
Yeah. So with the +1, I'm rolling 3 and taking the 2 high, right?
Correct. Yes.
I'm fine with that. I'll just roll.
Oh,
5. That's not good.
Yeah, out and out failure. The assisting player has now added -1D obstacle to the other player. So let's figure that out. Like, what does the TV camera pick up from your failed help?
I think it's jammed or something. Or is that an alarm going off?
Or in a more Star Wars way, it's like you plug it in and it's the power port. Yeah. Yeah.
That is great. Yeah, I love it. So you are now, before you were at +1 die. Now you're down to just a flat roll, right? So that because that -1d obstacle, took you from a +1 to a 0, right? I'm just gonna make sure the math's right. Stephen, is that
Let's
what you
verify
remember?
that because I don't think that was right. I thought I was
Okay.
flat before. So if we start
You're
over,
right. Yes. So you're at
Yes.
-1 die. You are rolling 3 dice and you're effectively rolling with disadvantage.
right. Okay, perfect.
Ouch.
So that is a
Okay.
3.
That is I don't think you used a spotlight token, correct?
I did not.
Yeah, it was SFX that you used. Okay, sweet. So you fail. Me. An alarm starts to go off. Whatever slicing programs, they've changed the codes. It's been updated. Maybe there are some non-imperial, like consumer or commercial code strings in here, but you are not able to slice it in time. And yeah, we cut to another hangar bay, which has several TIE fighters in it. There are in shiny black Imperial TIE fighter uniforms. They're throwing on their helmets. You see a number of them run again and like slide again to their TIE fighters and starting to take off. And there's also a intercom with a notification as you're being warned. Anything further, please surrender. Anything further, and you will be apprehended. And if you resist, then you will be shot.
If I may, I'd like to up things a little bit, which is I actually have that hand interface in the droid, in the droid computer interface thing. And I think whenever the alarms start going off, there's like a little panel that comes down and locks my hand.
Ah,
Right?
yes, that's great. Thank
So
you
I'm
for
stuck
that.
to the
That's
ship.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So boom, you're trapped. Your hand
Oh,
is trapped.
And even perfect. I'm like, oh, I think I've got it. I've got it. And that's whenever everything goes down. Yeah.
Yes, that's great. Excellent.
don't
So
have it.
who have we not seen a lot of? Dr. Palia hasn't done a whole lot over the last few minutes of our
Oh, I don't
episode.
know about that. I kind of screwed us. But I guess we're gonna plan B, the escape pods. But now they just launched a bunch of TIE fighters, right?
Yes, there are TIE fighters in the air. And I think maybe you got that information, Clank, that like, oh, they've launched TIE fighters. That's not
Yes, and so very dry. They have launched TIE fighters. If we get out of here, there will be a problem. And escape pods are not an option unless you want to leave me here, because I am now attached to this ship.
Well, and I guess we have to land this thing ourselves. I don't know. I don't have another plan.
That's amazing. I'm shocked to hear what this might be.
I'll look around. Is there like Dr. Palia's thing is totally gonna be disguises. Are there like we just shot a bunch of stormtroopers. I could dress up as a stormtrooper.
But they don't have any like blaster scoring marks on them because they were stunned.
They were stunned. That's true. Oh.
We can easily like screen wipe to you guys in stormtrooper outfits. That's not a problem. However, there were 3 of them, and with Michelle, there are 4 of you.
Well, Michelle's knocked out.
Michelle's knocked out, and Clank is still stuck on in the ship. But if we
there's that too.
get into stormtrooper uniforms, we might get them to open up the ship so we can get Clank out, because we have arrested him. We are stormtroopers.
Oh, just so we're on the same page, I don't imagine anyone's on the shuttle. It just had a high amount of security.
But I think they can maybe open it up remotely.
Sure.
So we can talk them into that.
Okay, I like the idea that we dress up as stormtroopers. We hide the real stormtroopers somewhere in a closet.
Yeah, and then we tell them to open up
there's so many closets on this cruise.
So we can get the droid out of that's stuck in the ship, right? We need to get them out. If they open up the ship, then we can steal the ship.
Okay, cool. I will tell you that there is going to be a higher obstacle because they are aware that Michelle is has escaped at some point, or cannot be found. So wants to engage with basically using the stormtrooper headset radio, which maybe there's a commercial where they're selling the actual stormtrooper helmet and they talk about the internal radio communication CB. So we cut back to who's got the stormtrooper helmet and is appearing in front of some kind of camera so that you can BS somebody.
I'll go for it because I'll use my credentials on this probably.
Oh, good, because your drama's not so good.
Yeah.
Amazing. Your obstacle is a 2. I'm using up so much of my budget, but that's what happens in short episodes.
Yep. Okay, so that's it. That starts with so I'm starting at -2. That's what you're saying, right?
You're starting at -2.
Okay. This is TK221. We've got the droid and Lieutenant what's their name? Michelle under arrest down here. You can end the lockdown.
All right.
So credentials give me 3 dice.
Yes.
And then am I misunderstanding? I have to use spotlight token for that. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So I'll strike through my credentials. So that brings me up to a 1.
Yes. You're
so you have you have to spend spotlight tokens to use your SFX.
Oh, you're right. Thank you for asking that question. No, it does not cost spotlight tokens.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. So that burns that, and then yeah, I don't have any descriptors. So rolling 3, taking the best. Ooh, that's too many.
You could have used the spotlight token to get you up to 5. To get
You
you
could.
up to.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do
Or
that.
you could get help,
I can help you.
which would be another roll.
Yay.
Yeah, why don't you help me, Lon? Are you
Sure thing.
another stormtrooper?
I'm another stormtrooper. I'm saying this droid is stuck inside the ship. Open up the ship so we can get the droid out, please.
All right.
And I'm
Let's see how your
I'm
help is. I think again, obstacle is. I'm going to give you an obstacle of 1. I still have the budget, and also they're on high alert, so they might be a little suspicious of a voice they don't exactly recognize. That's your obstacle of 1.
Okay, I can use a spotlight token here, right?
Yes, you can.
For helping. I will do that. I have tried to do that. I have not. I failed. No, I've done that. So I've got.
Just so we're clear,
no.
before you hit the dice, wait, I don't know why your drama went to 9. I think you meant to change it.
I was in the wrong box.
My God, she's so dramatic. Sorry. How is,
well,
I'm not saying no. I just want to know, how does Defiant help you here? What's the spotlight on your Defiance in this stressful situation?
I need to use the spotlight to, if I'm Defiant. Okay, I guess.
Can we do like the whole like back and forth, like arguing stormtrooper thing? Like, no, leave the droid alone.
Or you could use your force sensitivity once per thing and say, you will end the lockdown.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to help.
Yeah.
Dr. Kalia. And I think that my Define comes into play because I'm telling her that we don't need the ship opened up, as you said. I think, and then you can say, no, I need that, and I have authority over you, right? Yeah. Something like that.
Awesome. Okay, so are you doing the force sensitive or Defiant?
No, I'm doing the Define. I'm using the spotlight token that gives me 1 die or 2 dice.
It's a 2 die bonus. Nice. You are at a obstacle
of 1.
Oh shoot!
Yes,
it was an obstacle of 1. So now you're at +1. So you're rolling 3d6, keeping the best 2.
Why do I have no? I have a drama of 1. So obstacle 1, drama 1. Drama 1 means 0, and then +2. That's a +2. That means I roll 4 dice, right?
You're correct.
Thank you.
I have to start writing this stuff down. It's like I'm moving the dice around. It's crazy. Why is this hard? It's simple math, Rich. Come on. Okay.
Well,
12. Wow.
I hate to say it, but it's a 12.
Note to producers to showrunner: increase your budget, dude. Okay, awesome. So that's a success. You give a 2 die benefit to the other player. There's a momentary pause. They are leaning towards believing you, but still, you must convince them with the intention. So
that gives me 2 dice. That gives me 2, right? Because I was at 0. I was rolling flat before. With the 8, I have 2, so I'm rolling 4. Okay. So I think this is the fast talking back and forth with Lon. Like, well, we need to release a droid. Well, I don't know about that. Well, it's just...
nice.
Okay, but
Nice.
yeah. All right, here we go. And if they like ask who is this, that's where the credentials come in.
Yeah, totally. You're using your credentials there. Who is this? I don't
Yeah.
recognize you at all.
All right, here we go. That's a 12.
Oh, that is amazing. And so, do you slide in with an apologetic approach, Dr. Palia, or do you just assert authority and take over here to win this argument?
Yeah, I think they try to like put like, who is this? What's your operating number, right? And Dr. Palia puts in her credentials that she has, like these high ranking, and it like way outranks the person. So like the bureaucracy part is broken. They're like, oh, I'm so sorry, you know, captain or whatever.
Nice. Yes. Apologies, Captain. Apologies. Please, feel free. We will notify everyone. We were unaware that you were on the ship.
And you should feel bad. Click.
You're on mute.
Yeah, you're on mute. Rich.
The intent there was to get to the escape pods, because you guys have mentioned that. I just want to make sure you want to talk your way past.
No, we wanted to get them to unlock the ship so we could get A, clank out, and B, steal the ship.
Okay, right. Sorry. I asked the intent and then I forgot the intent and all of the assisting and the die rolling. So the little door that had shut your hand clank is now released, and the shuttle doors, they like clamshell, the clamshell open, and you guys can step into the cool mod 70s style of the ship.
And I think as everybody steps into the ship, Clank turns to them and says, the lockdown has been ended because Dr. Palia outranks everyone. And then follows everyone back on the... Yeah.
Yeah, we saw, and Mel claps Clank on the shoulder.
Nice. So, you guys are able to secure Pashel and get onto this shuttle. Now, I'm going to do a little bit of paint the scene very quick, but I just want to hear like 2, and I'm going to popcorn. So whoever has it, what is something opulent and very 70s about this shuttle? That is a shuttle for a totally ritzy space liner.
You ready? Okay, there are big seats that are like beanbags. So they're like velvet beanbags that the passengers are to sit in.
Good. I love it. I love
And
it.
That's so good.
And there's wood paneling, like exquisitely polished wood paneling, like to the highest degree. And of course, it's from the trees of Kashyyyk, right? The Rothir or whatever they're called. It's like, wow.
That's awesome. I love it. So you guys throw him on one of the beanbags, and who's our pilot? Is that going to be Mel because you have the experiment? Awesome. So you slide in. What's like a 70s thing about the front panel, Mel, as you sit in, or something that's kind of sleek and noteworthy the camera lingers on for just a moment?
Ooh, I think I think it's like fake wood panel with the instrument panel, and there's like a little light. Sorry, I'm kind of blank.
Oh, that's okay. Cool. Yeah, I'm imagining that there are a couple of like the dials with a little ticker number Geiger counter looking things there. You start everything up. She hums. It's got the little tinkling sound that's added in the After Effects. The hangar door opens up and you slide out. You're in space. The cruise liner, the counters like down to 10 seconds before they go into hyperspace, and you guys are headed towards the planet where you'd left, because I imagine you kind of arrived and hopped onto the cruise liner from there. However, as the group of you, there's a breathe sigh of relief, right? Pichelle starts to wake up. He looks around, and then that's when I think Clank, you notice you're keeping an eye on, and a couple of screaming TIE fighters come from the cruise liner heading towards you guys. So there are no guns on this ship. It's a shuttle. It has really nice shields.
And I lean over to who's the pilot, Mel?
Mel.
Yeah. I lean over and I say, there are TIE fighters incoming, and there are no guns on this ship.
I know. Just sit down and co-pilot, and we'll get out of this.
So I think I
And,
crunch down, and it's sort of like an adult sitting into one of those child's chairs. You know, I crouch down in it and kind of start hitting buttons.
Awesome. So this will be our last intent of the session. I'm going to try my best to remember the original obstacle that we offer. I'm going to write stuff down. It is a 3-die obstacle that I'm throwing just to see what happens when we do a 3-die obstacle. And also it's the last one. So they're like flying around each other in some kind of weird corkscrew pattern. These guys are pretty good.
yeah. So I guess we have to lose them in the I don't know. We're on this like ocean planet, right? We lose them in the fog bags and like
cool.
dive down towards the surface and yeah.
Do TIE fighters fly underwater? They do not.
No, but I mean it's we need to have the cool chase scene, and that doesn't work if we just go away.
Cool. All right. So let's go. You've got a -3-die obstacle. I think you're totally being adventurous here. So you go from -3 down to -1 die.
Hey, Rich, do you have a voice mod on?
I hear it too.
Yeah, you're a stormtrooper right now.
Oh, yay. It actually worked.
There you go.
Haha. Your guys had a stormtrooper laying out odds. Sorry about that. I did not have it to where I could hear myself, so I did not realize. So we have a -3 obstacle we started from, applied against your adventure of 2, so you're at a -1D right now. Do you want to spend a spotlight token to push up? I think.
Yeah.
What descriptor do you think you can highlight here?
I wanted to go for one of the casting things.
Oh, smart move. Very smart.
I want to go for never smiles on screen. It's just a close-up shot of her intense face, look on her face as she's piloting the ship.
That's perfect. So by using that spotlight token, that goes down to an 8, and you go from -1D to a +1D.
Cool.
You are rolling 3 dice, keeping the best 2.
Would you like some help?
Yeah.
I could hurt.
I mean, I saw what happened when I tried to help, but yeah.
So I think I will also spend a spotlight token for droid reflexes.
Ooh, nice. Okay.
And I think that's going to be, well, let's set up the difficulty.
Yeah, I think that this is a -1 die obstacle.
Okay.
You're using adventure and your droid reflexes, so that takes you up to a +3 die, right?
So it was -1 for the difficulty, +2 for adventure, so that's +1, +1 for droid reflexes, so 2.
Two.
Yes.
Two. Descriptors are 2 die.
Okay. So then that's +3.
3.
It's-
You're at
Plus
3
3.
die. Plus
It's-
3.
We are at 3 dice. You have
Okay.
+4 natively and -1 from the obstacle.
But at +3, you roll 5 dice. I don't love that.
Yeah.
It's not super intuitive.
And
But
it's not
like,
and go ahead.
I was just going to say, the way I think I reconcile it is that the plus is how many more actual dice you get from 2.
Well, the thing that's a little different for me is we keep using the term of how many dice do you get because it's a dice pool, but it's not. It's what your bonus is that then determines
right.
your number of dice. And
So it's +3D, you're rolling 5 dice.
Yeah.
If I say
And
D, I think it might be easier. Maybe.
well, and my brain
No.
still interprets that as dice, so I'm
You're
gonna roll
right.
my 5 dice and let's see what
Okay.
that looks like. I got a 5 and a 6. That's 11.
Okay. That is success. The assisting character gives a 2D benefit to the other player. And the other player was at 1D. With the 2D benefit, Mel is now at 3 die. Sorry,
And-
5 dice. A
Yeah.
+3. You're at a +3.
And what we
I-
see here is
Mhm.
that Clank is hitting buttons almost as fast as Mel thinks about them needing to be hit.
Oh, nice. I like that. Good highlight.
With those long K droid arms.
Sweet. All right. So, Mel, this will be
Oh
the last
my
die roll
God.
of our session. Wow.
Yeah, 5 dice. I get a 4 because these dice hate me. So is this a cliffhanger ending? We're getting shot out of the sky, or
Maybe next time we'll just start in an Imperial detention center.
You explode. There's a shot. The explosion. You guys are going down. We get a couple of cuts of you guys doing whatever you're doing before you crash into the sea, and that'll be the end of our first episode of the really long title that I can't remember. Disposable Humanitarians. Woo. All right. Well, I know folks need to go right at the hour, so yes, you were super disposable. Good work. Way to be disposable, friends. That is our first session of Retrostar. Thank you all so much for giving this thing a shot. We'll stop the recording here.
Thanks for running.